Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Nicola. I'm a mum of two and I make videos about all things lifestyle. So vlogs and hauls and lifestyle videos and cleaning and organisation and all things like that. So if you like that sort of thing, I would love it if you would subscribe. I'm so close to my target of 1,000 subscribers. I set myself a goal of achieving 1,000 subscribers when I started taking this YouTube thing a little bit more seriously back at New Year last year, this year, and I wasn't sure whether or not it was an achievable target considering I work full time and I can only make one video a week, but I thought I'd give it a go and we are so close, just about 100 to go. So if you're not subscribed, please do. It would make my day and you can do it by just clicking the button down here. I'm hoping I'm in focus because the camera keeps focusing on this thing behind me. As you can see, this is a Christmas video today, but we are still autumned up in this house. Autumn garland, autumn blankets, autumn jumpers. It is not Christmas just yet, but I'll come to that in a minute. So today I thought I would film a video about how to reduce your stress at Christmas time. I think it's very sad, and I mean sad as in upsetting, that so many people get so stressed out over Christmas and put so much pressure on themselves to achieve this perfect Christmas. And you know, what is a perfect Christmas? Surely if you're happy, you're with the ones you love, you're having a nice time, that's perfect to me. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to do everything. And I did write a blog post about this a couple of years ago actually, because perfect is different to everybody, and children particularly, who I mean Christmas isn't just for children, I love it, but you know, Christmas is where we focus our efforts when it comes to Christmas, and they just want to be with their family and have a lovely time, and it doesn't really matter that you're not doing everything. So I thought I would make a list of 10 ways to have a stress-free Christmas, 10 tips that you could put into your life to help Christmas just go a little bit easier and be a little bit more pleasant. Because as much as we love Christmas, it can be stressful. So here are my top 10 tips on how to make it less stressful. Right, grab your cup of tea. I've got mine in my new Starbucks mug. This is the new Christmas one. It's very cute. It's got a little, I don't know what it is. Oh, it is Santa, but it looks like a little elf down the bottom here. But I've got a cup of tea. So first and foremost, don't get sucked in. You've got people like me telling you, make an activity advent calendar, make gingerbread, do this, do that. Put up your Christmas decorations on the 1st of November. So many people have got their decorations up. As you can see, as I mentioned earlier, we have not. And I don't put my decorations up until December, end of November at the very earliest, but it will be 1st of December this year. And I've been astounded actually this year by how many people have already got their trees up. When I'm on Instagram, on YouTube, looking at videos, when I'm driving around, there are trees up everywhere, and it's like, it's mid-November, it's not even anywhere near Christmas yet. And I mean, if you want to put your tree up, then go for it, you know, enjoy it, but don't feel pressured into doing things just because people like me and bigger YouTubers and people on Instagram are doing stuff. You don't have to. Do what you want to do. Do you, and don't get sucked in by what everybody else is doing. It can be very easy to think that you're being left behind or you haven't done enough. The amount of people saying, oh, I've wrapped all my presents. I haven't even thought about presents yet. Phoebe's birthday is on Saturday coming, and until that's out of the way, I can't even think about Christmas presents. So haven't even started. I haven't even thought about getting started. So, you know, if you're one of those people that are feeling like you're being left behind because everybody else has got everything going on, then we haven't. We are nowhere Christmassy yet. The only Christmassy stuff that I've got going on is this Christmas content here, and that's because it's important to start these videos early, because if I put them all in December, I wouldn't have time to do them all. So number 2, you can't do everything. You know, there are so many lovely things to do at Christmas, and when I mentioned in my activity advent calendar video I did a couple of weeks ago, I'll link it below if you haven't seen it, you know, there are lots of things that we like to do over Christmas that include things like ice skating and going to the pantomime and going to the Christmas markets and things like that. And I try and plan them in over the month, and if we end up not doing them, it's not the end of the world. And sometimes you can just do too much. I was having a conversation via WhatsApp with a friend last night, and I listed out the things that we've got going on between now and Christmas, and it is absolutely mental. And it's not just stuff that we're doing going out. I mean, there is Christmas carol concerts for school, there's Christmas plays, there's Christmas music concerts, we've got a cabaret night coming up, we've got Phoebe's birthday this coming weekend. There is so much going on, and you can just get completely weighed down by the pressure of all these things that you've got to do. And you know, oh, they're going to this market, I want to go there, they're going to see this Santa, I want to go there. You don't have to do everything. Make a weekend where you do nothing. Or the weekend before Christmas, I think we've got a trip to see Santa, and other than that we're doing nothing that weekend. And I'm going to try and make it stay like that, because that will be perfect for just catching up on jobs, giving the house a bit of a clean, relaxing, watching some Christmas movies, and just feeling like we've done everything. One more day of work and then we can just enjoy a couple of weeks off. So I'm going to try and make sure that weekend is completely free. But yeah, don't feel like you have to do everything. Number 3, don't start traditions that you don't want to carry on. Elf on the Shelf is something that springs to mind. We do not do Elf in the Shelf in this house, and there is one reason for that, and that is because I can't cope with it. I can't do that as well as everything else. It would stress me out too much trying to, you know, I know the elf comes and the elf, they do things, but you know, there's a certain amount of parental involvement when it comes to Elf on the Shelf, and I am not up for that. So call me a bad parent, call me miserable, but we do plenty of other things and the children get lots of other things. So, you know, Elf on the Shelf is something we don't do. We do lots of other things, but you can get, again, sucked into seeing what other people do. Oh, that looks amazing. You know, I love our activity advent calendar and I love doing it. If you don't feel like you could stick to that, because once you do it once, the family tend to expect it every year. So you've got to commit to it. If you're going to do Elf on the Shelf, for example, that's it until your children are older. You know, the elf is going to keep coming. And if you do an activity advent calendar one year, you're pretty much going to have to do it every year. If you're going to go to a certain place to visit Father Christmas and it's amazing, then, you know, you're probably going to have to book that again the following year. It's certain things. So if you're going to do a tradition, that's great, but just be aware that it's going to be there for good. You're going to have to probably keep going. Okay, number 4, Christmas cards. Now I did, I think it was Home Bargains haul last Christmas, and I bought my Christmas cards from Home Bargains, and I said I love to send Christmas cards, and I do, and I love to write them, but it is a ball ache to write. You know, sometimes it gives me be as many as 100 Christmas cards, and sitting down and finding the time to do it and then posting them can be expensive. Post is not cheap anymore. And last year I decided that it was probably the last year I was going to write an extensive list of Christmas cards. I get less and less sent back to me each year, and I don't send them just to receive one back, but less and less people are doing it. And I think, well, if I left those people out, they probably wouldn't even notice. They wouldn't even think, oh, you know, we've got one from Nicola, I haven't sent her one. I don't suppose they'd really care. So I have bought a small amount of Christmas cards this year, and I will be sending them to close friends and family, and that is it. And that is going to be such a weight off, because it is a long, you know, it takes a long time to sit and write hundreds of Christmas cards. I remember my mum doing it when I was a child. She'd be doing it for weeks, you know, writing Christmas cards, and she'd write little notes in each individual one. You know, then we did the sending a letter, a newsletter, and I have done that. I actually wrote our newsletter on my blog last year, and I'll probably do the same this year. But yeah, you don't have to send Christmas cards. Not everyone expects them. You could send a text message, you could send an e-card. There are so many other ways you could send greetings at Christmas. You don't have to send cards. So don't worry about sitting down and spending hours writing out Christmas cards if you haven't got the time. Don't sweat it. It's fine. Nobody expects it. Do something else. Number 5, planning. If you're going to be hosting Christmas, or you've got lots on at Christmas, then planning is key. I have a Christmas planner. I bought it last year. I think Home Bargains have got a great one. I saw Brummy Mummy of 2 show it on her Home Bargains haul and on her Instagram, and I think it's 99p, and it's great. If you've got lots going on, it's great to just write things down. I'm a great lover of lists. Writing lists every day of the things that I have to do and ticking them off when they're done, it makes me feel, whew, like I've achieved something and like there's not quite so much weight on my shoulders. So planning is really important. And also for Christmas, you know, there are a lot of things need to be booked in advance. I mentioned this in the activity advent calendar video, that you know, if you're going to go and see Father Christmas, you need to book it. If you're going to go to the pantomime or to see a show, you need to book it. And those things need to be done ASAP if you haven't done them already. If it might be too late for some things, so you might have to plan that next year. But yeah, planning is key. If you've got loads of presents to buy, write it down. Don't go out aimlessly in shopping like, you know, I won't gender stereotype, but lots of men do go out on Christmas Eve and just wander in shops and randomly buy stuff because they don't know what to get. Some ladies do that too. I don't. We buy everything online pretty much. I'm going to wait until Black Friday. So next week I will be doing the majority of my Christmas shopping online, get it out of the way, and it's done. But yeah, planning is key. So plan your Christmas presents, plan what you're going to need to book, plan your food that you're going to need to buy, all of that sort of stuff. Plan, plan, plan. The more you plan, the more lists you write, the more you write it down, it's out of here, onto paper. It makes things so much easier to deal with. Number 6 is, do you really need to buy presents for everyone? Now this is a controversial one. About, let's say about 5 or 6 years ago, we decided as a family, and we are a big family. I am one of 4, Andrew is one of 4, so and all of our siblings have children, well most of them, but have children, so we are a big family. And we decided one year that actually, you know, we're just buying random crap for people, especially when, you know, you don't see people that often. My siblings live far and wide, and so do Andrew's, and we don't see them that often, so you don't really know what they want or what to buy for people, so you just buy them a gift set of this or that. And how many of times have you received something like that and it's ended up in the school tombola, or so, because it's just not something that you really wanted. So we decided that we would not buy presents for the adults in our family anymore. The children still get presents because they're children, that would be mean not to give the children presents, and so they still get presents. And actually quite often my mum and dad come to us for Christmas Day, and it's just us, the 4 of us and my mum and dad, and we'll sometimes buy presents for them, just something little, so that they've got something to open, which is nice. And Andrew and I always buy presents for each other. But yeah, my sisters and, you know, aunties and uncles and things like that, we don't buy presents anymore. And that takes a great weight off, because, you know, there's a lot of people, and that's a lot of shopping and a lot of planning and a lot of money, and it's not necessary. We don't need anything. None of us need anything. Sometimes it's nice to have little gifts, and we can give gifts to each other, but for family, no more. And that point leads nicely onto number 7, which is, don't get into debt just for Christmas. And I was going to say just for one day, but I hate it when people say it's just one day, because it's not just one day, it's a couple of months really, it's a whole season. Christmas is, you know, it's a big deal, but don't get into debt just for Christmas. It's not worth it. You spend the rest of the year or next year or several years afterwards paying off what you did just for this month of December, and it's just not worth it. There are so many free things that you can do. You don't have to pay out expensive money for tickets to shows, or I don't know, expensive Santa trips to Winter Wonderland or whatever. There are so many things you can do that are free or that are cheap, and like I said, you don't have to buy presents for everybody. And if you do, you go to the pound shop, make a little hamper up, you know, £5–10. They can be lovely, and you can make nice thoughtful gifts. The year after I had Phoebe, well, bearing in mind she's a end of November birthday, so in the run-up, I was obviously on maternity leave, and I didn't have a lot of money because I was on maternity leave, so I decided to make presents for our close family, and this was before we decided not to do presents anymore. And I made jars of biscuits and gifts and things like that, and I loved doing it. It was great fun, and it wasn't expensive, it didn't cost me a lot of money, and people actually appreciated those gifts more, probably because I'd made them myself and put a lot of time and effort into them. So don't go spending loads of money. People would rather you said, look, would you mind if we didn't do gifts this year, or would you mind if you helped out with buying food if you're coming to me for Christmas or whatever. People would rather you said that than you spend years paying off debt that you've created from hosting a Christmas one year. So yeah, don't get into debt. If you can't afford it, don't buy it. Do something else. It's not necessary and it will cause you pain in the long run. Number 8, I've written to book your food shop online. Now, I don't do this. I have done in the past and I never seem to get myself organised enough. And because I do a large amount of my shopping in Aldi and you can't buy online in there, then I actually find that it's easier to go early in the morning and do my food shop in person. But if you want to reduce stress, then booking your food shop online is a good way to do it. If you can't do that, because I reckon probably a lot of them are already booked if you haven't booked a slot already, then do what I do and go as early as the shop will open. I'm probably going to do mine on the 21st, is that, I think that's the Saturday. Yes, after the children break up from school. It's Saturday of that last weekend before Christmas. I'm probably going to go that day at 8 in the morning or 7 in the morning, as soon as the shop opens, and get my shop done and out of the way. And then you can breathe a sigh of relief and go, whew, it's done. I don't have to stress about it. But if you can, and you've still got slots available, book it online. If you haven't done it this year, next year, put it in your diary, the date that the slots become available, and book your food shop online. It will take a lot of the stress out of it. Number 9 is get other people to help. So if you're hosting Christmas, so if you've got a big family and you've got everyone coming to you this Christmas, don't feel that you have to do everything. Ask people to help. Now, when I hosted Christmas a few years ago, I think we had, well, in fact, it wasn't Christmas, I think we hosted Boxing Day. We just had a small family get together on Christmas Day, just the 4 of us. And then on Boxing Day, I had 17 in the house for Boxing Day, and I cooked a Christmas meal for 17. Now, everybody contributed financially, so they gave a little bit of money, not a lot, and you know, that's fair, and I would do the same if I was going to them. So everyone gave a little bit of money to help out with the cost of the food, and everybody mucked in with preparing the food, and it's become sort of a tradition. So everyone sits around the table, whoever's there, maybe people who stayed the night before or people who've come early, they'll be peeling the sprouts and doing the parsnips, and we're chatting, got Christmas music on, and everyone helps out. And I think that's really important. Sometimes you may not want people in your kitchen, you'd rather just do it yourself, but for me it's really nice to have everybody helping, because sometimes if you're the cook and everybody's there and everyone's in the lounge and they're all drinking and having a nice time, and you're there stuck on your own in the kitchen, it can be miserable, and you spend your entire day preparing food for everybody else and you don't get to enjoy it. So I think it's important to ask people to help. Don't be ashamed to ask for financial help. Don't be worried about asking people to prepare things. Bring stuff with them. Could you bring a dessert? Could you bring some wine? Could you, you know, there's no shame in asking people to help you, and you shouldn't have to take everything on your shoulders and do it all yourself, especially if you've got a big family like mine. And last but not least, number 10 is remember to enjoy it. Christmas is a time for family, it's a time to enjoy yourself, to have fun and be with the ones you love. And it can be so easy, and I said at the beginning, to get sucked into all the extra stuff that you're expected to do, and there is no expectation. The only expectation is what you put on yourself. Nobody else expects you to be doing certain things. So whatever you do, just enjoy it. Make time to stop, make time to sit down, watch a film, have a nice bubble bath, make time to go for a nice wintry walk with the family, make time to just do nothing, but just enjoy the festive season. Stick the fire on, make yourself a cuppa and just relax, because that's what it's all about. It's about enjoying it. And too often we can come to the end of Christmas, you get to the day after Boxing Day and you're like, oh my God, thank God it's over. I'm so exhausted, I've done so much, and did I actually enjoy any of the stuff that I did, because it was so stressful and we have to go here and we have to do that. Don't, just enjoy yourself. Chill out, relax, have a lovely time. And so that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it maybe helped you a little bit think about putting things in perspective and making space in your life to actually enjoy Christmas rather than making it super stressful. And I wish you a very early Merry Christmas, and I will see you next time.
Hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go out.